ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ आप्यायन्तु ममाङ्गानि वाक्प्राणश्चक्षुश्रोत्रमथो बलमिन्द्रियाणि च सर्वाणि सर्वं ब्रह्म उपनिषदं माहं ब्रह्म निराकुर्याम् मा ब्रह्म निराकरोत्। अनिराकरणमस्त्वनिराकरणं मे अस्तु तदात्मनि निरते यौपनिषत्सु धर्मास्ते मयि सन्तु ते मयि सन्तु। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ इत्येतदक्षरमुद्गीतमुपासीत ॐ इति ह्युद्गायते तस्योपव्याख्यानम् अशना पिपासे में सौम्य विजानीहि ते यत्रैतत्पुरुषो अशिशिषति नाम आप एव तदशितं नयन्ते तद्यथा गोनायः अश्वनायः पुरुषनायः इत्येवं तद् अपाचक्षते अशनाय इति तैत्रैतच्छृङ्गमुत्पतितम् सौम्य विजानीहि नेदममूलं भविष्यतीति तस्य क्व मूलं स्यात् अन्यत्र अन्नात् एवमेव खलु सौम्य अन्नेन शृङ्गेन आपो मूलमन्विच्छ अद्भिः सौम्य शृङ्गेन तेजो मूलमन्विच्छ तेजसा सौम्य शृङ्गेन सन्मूलमन्विच्छ सन्मूला सोमेवा सर्वाः प्रजाः सदायतनाः सत्प्रतिष्ठाः तस्य क्वमूलं स्यात् अन्यत्र अन्नाद् अन्नमूलमिति अभिप्रायः। what can be the moolam, the root, the cause, the source of this body other than annam? Meaning, annam moolam iti abhipraya. The idea is that annam, the food is the moolam, the source, the cause of this body. Katham? Upanishad says that annam, the food, is the cause or the source of the body. But how? Ashitam yannam adbhihi dravikritam. The food, the solid food which is eaten is made, is softened by the water which is drunk. Jatharena agnina pachyamanam. It is digested by the fire in the stomach. Rasabhavena parinamate. The first transformation of food is rasa. Rasat shonitam. From rasa of the child is shonitam, the blood. Shonitat mamsam. From blood, the next transformation is flesh. Mamsat medaha. From flesh, the next modification is medaha, the fat. Medasaha asthini. From fat, the next transformation is the bones. Asthibhya majja. From the bones, the marrow. Majjayaha shukram. From the marrow is the semen. तथा योषित भुक्तम चन्नम रसादिकमेण एवं परिणतम लोहितम भवति. Essentially, a similar process goes on in the body of a woman, except that the final transformation is lohitam, or blood. Tabhyam shukra shonitabhyam annakaryaabhyam sanyuktabhyam. When there is sanyoga or union of the semen and blood, both of which are the products of food. Anneneva pratythen, meaning that from the food, even though immediately you can say that the body is the product of the shukra and shonita, but shukra, shonita means semen and blood themselves are the products of food, therefore body is the product of food. So not only the food is the cause of body because body is born of food, but anneneva pratyaham bhujyamanena. So upachayamanaha. The food that is eaten every day, the body gets replenished, body gets nourished. Just as a wall gets replenished with the bricks, so also the food gets nourished with the body gets nourished with the food each and every day. Yattu deheshungasya moolam annam nirdishtam. That food is the cause of the root of the body, which is what is indicated here or shown. Tadapi dehavat vinashotpattimatvat kasmat chinmulam utpatidam shungaheveti krutvaha. But the food also is subject to creation, bomb, so preparation and destruction, consumption. So utpatti vinashamatvat, because it is possessed with utpatti, the creation, vinasha, destruction. Kasmachit, therefore, it also must be a product. It also must be a shunga, a product or a sprout, which must have some root of the source. Yatha dehe shungaha annamulha evam eva khalu somya annena shungena karyabhutena apo moolam annasya shungasya anvichya pratipadyasya. Hey Somya, O good looking one, just as the deha shunga annamula, the sprout in the form of body has its moolam, the source of annam, or the food. Evam eva khalu somya annena shungena. Similarly, hey Somya, O good looking one, annena shungena, but the sprout in the form of food. Karyabhutena apo moolam anvichya. That the source or the root of the food is water. Anvichya pratipadyasva. May you come to understand the water as the source or the cause, the root of food. Apamapi vinashotpattimatvat. Water also is similarly subject to vinashotpatti, destruction, creation. Shungatvam, so water also must be shunga, water also must be a sprout or an effect. Tejasa somya shungena, no, adbhis somya shungena, karyena, karanam, tejo moolam, anvicha. Hey somya, oh good looking one, from water, which is the shunga or the sprout, may you see, understand, teja, the fire as the very cause or the root. Tejasopi vinashotpattimatvat. Then tejas or the fire also is subject to vinasha and utpatti, destruction and creation. Shungatvam, therefore, the fire also is a sprout, is also a product. Idi tejasa somya shungena sanmulam anvicha. Understand that sat or existence is the moolam, the root or the source of the element fire also. So what is that sat? So the Upanishad said that sat is a moolam of the element fire. But what is sat? The Sankhyas want to interpret sat as pradhanam. The Vashyakara says ekameva dvityam paramartha satyam. Sat is Brahman, one without a second, the absolute reality, and not the pradhanam of Sankhyas. Yasmin sarvidam vacharambanam vikara namdhayam annam rajvame sarvadi kalpa jatam adhyastam. So all of this creation made up of the three elements is subject to vinasha, utpatti, destruction and creation. Therefore, all of this is a sprout, is karya, effect and mithya. Yasmin sarvad vacharambanam vikaro namadhayam. Because Upanishad explain what is vikara, what is modification. Vacharambanam has its origin only in speech. The pot has origin in speech, not in clay. So pot has its origin in the word pot. It's hanging on the speech, meaning that its reality is no more than the word pot. Therefore it is mithya. So there is an object called clay. When I hold this object in my hand, there is a vishaya of the word clay, but no vishaya, no object for the word pot. Therefore, this universe consisting of names and forms, being mithya, is a projection and therefore is projected upon a substratum. So vacharamam vikaro namdem anguram rajvavya sarpadi vikalpajatam. Just as upon rajju or the rope, the snake and the garland and the stick, all these kind of things are superimposed. So also on the substratum which is sat, all this is superimposition of names and forms. Adhyastam avidyaya. The adhyasa, the superimposition takes place because of vidya, because of ignorance. Tadasya jagatah moolam. That sat is tadasya jagatah moolam. Atah sanmulaha somima sarva prajaha. That sat is the moolam, the source or the cause of the entire creation. Atah sanmulaha satkaranaha sanmulaha sadeva so moolam. So yesham te sanmulaha. Sat is a moolam or the source of which all the beings have sat as a moola, as a source, as a cause. Meaning sat karanaha, sat karanam yesham Sat is Moolam means Karanam, the cause of which beings. Imaha Sthavarjangam Lakshana Sarvaha Prajaha Sanmulaha. Imaha Sarvaha Prajaha, all these beings. Sthavar Jangam Lakshana, characterized by Sthavara, immobile, Jangama, mobile. So moving and non-moving, whatever beings are there, they all have Sat as their cause, have their cause in Sat. On the page 260 now, continuing. न केवलं सन्मूला एव इदानीमपि स्थितिकाले सदायतनाः सदाश्रयाः एव न हि मृदम् अनाश्रित्य घटादेस्तत्त्वं स्थितिर्वा अस्ति. न केवलम सन्मूलाः, not only these beings have their moolam or the source in Sat, idanim api sthiti kale. So not only when these beings were born, that they were born of Sat, but idanim, today also, sthiti kale, when they are being sustained at that time also. Sadayatanaha Sadashrayaha eva. Today also Sat or existence or Brahman is Ayatanam, their abode. Sat Ashrayaha, they are all Ashrita, dependent upon Sat. So Bhashyakara says, Nahi mridam anashritya ghatadehe sattvam sthitirva asti. Mridam anashritya, without depending upon clay, it is not possible for a pot either to exist or even to come into being. Therefore, a pot, clay pot, is totally dependent upon clay. For it's for the pot to come into being and also for the pot to continue to exist. So says the Tika in line 28, Sadayatanatve Sanmulatvam Hetutvena Yojayati. That why are these beings, why do they have their abode in Sat? Because they have the root in their Sat also. So Sanmulatvam, Sat being the cause of the beings, is presented as the Hetu, as the reason why this Sat also is Ashraya, the abode of all the beings. Ataha Mrudvadi Bhashyakara says, or as Anandagiri said also, Prajaha Sarvaha Sanmulaha Sadayatana Siduktamartham Dushtantena Samarthayate. That all the beings have their moolam in Sat, their abode in Sat was also supported by a Dushtanta, Nahi Mrudam Anashritya. Okay. Ataha Mrudvat. Bhashyakara says, अतः मृद्वत सन्मूलत्वात् प्रजानां सदायतनं यासां ताः सदायतनाः प्रजाः. अतः मृद्वत, like the clay is the very source of the pot and also the abode of the pot. Sanmulatvat. So whatever is moolam, meaning whatever is the upadana karanam, material cause also should be the abode of the product. Like a pot, when its moolam or the upadana karanam, material cause is clay, then clay remains also the abode where the pot is sustained. At mrudvat sanmulatvat prajanam sad ayatanam. So sad ayatanam yasam taha sadayatanaha prajaha. So just as the clay is ayatanam, the abode of the pots also, sad is ayatanam, abode of all the beings. So sat ayatanam yasam taha sadayatanaha prajaha. Then Anandagiri says, Sat pratishtha sadayatanasyeti anayoho arthabheda abhavamashankyaha. So sanmulaha sadayatanaha sat pratishtha. So what is there a difference between the meaning of the word sadayatanaha, that ayatanam abode in sat, sat pratishtha, that pratishtha also in sat? Looks like both these words have a similar meaning. Sadayatanaha and sat. So ayatanam means abode, pratishtha also is where one abides. So looks like they have the same meaning. So sat pratishtha sat ayatanasya ityanayoho arthabheda abhavamashankya, that these two words do not have a different meaning. Raising the doubt, Ante cha Bhashyakara says, Ante cha sat pratishtha sadeva pratishtha laya samapti avasanam parisheshah yasam taha sat pratishtha. This other tika also said the same. Ayatana shabdena pratishtha shabdasya paunaruktam varayati. That ayatana and pratishtha are not synonyms. So Bhashyakara said, Ante cha sat pratishtha. Ultimately, when all the beings are dissolved, then sat becomes the pratishtha, that layasthanam. Sadeva pratishtha laya samapti. So, the place of merger. Sat pratishtha means sat is the place of the merger. First being they are called sat pratishtha. Says Anandagiri, pratishtha shabdasya layavashitvat ayatana shabdasya आश्रयवासित्वात् न पौनरुक्तम इत्यर्थः. Pratishtha means laya, the place of merger, and ayatanam meaning ashaya, the place or abode where they are sustained. So ayatanam means where they are sustained, pratishtha means where they merge. Therefore, there is no punarukti, they are not synonyms, they have their own meaning. लय शब्दस्य सुषुप्त्यादि विषयत्वं वारयति. But laya means merger, or laya also means sleeping. So laya can mean merger, laya also can mean the dozing sleeping. So laya shabdasya sushuptyad vishayatvam varayati. It can mean sushupti, sleep, etc. So that's not the meaning. Here laya does not mean that they all sleep into that, they merge in the samapti. That this is end, samapti. Again, Anandagiri is samyak apti, samapti iti prapti yatra vivakshita. Samapti is what? Samapti, samyak apti, apti prapti, samyak prapti means to attain. Iti yatra vivakshita, that they all attain sat. Says no, avasanam, the is avasanam, only means the culmination. Or termination, that's what. Avasanam, termination. Tasya bhavatvena tuchrupatum nirasyati. That is not abhava, it doesn't become oblivion. Parisheshaha, this is culmination, meaning Sat is the culmination. When he said that they merge into Sat, what it means is that they dissolve into Sat, or they end into Sat, terminate into Sat, or they culminate into Sat. Or the other tika as it said, Laya Shabdena Abhava Abhidane Asatva Shankamaha Samapti. So Laya can mean also that it no more remains. Abhava becomes non-existent. Asatvam, so all these beings cease to exist or what is no? Samapti. Sat is Samapti. Samyak Apti, the translation end of them. Sanyuga apti but samap. So apti means prapti. So sanyuga. Is it that all these beings they unite with Sat? See, unity means union means what? Each one of them maintains their individual, the nature. Two things unite. Each one remains what it is. So, is it that all the beings unite with Sat? No, avasanam. Termination into that. Tena abhavatmukta vidashangya. So by avasanam, do you mean abhava? Absence, no. There is parishesha, the culmination. Taha sadrupena parishishyanta ityartha. All these beings then culminate into, get reduced to Sat. Nothing remains other than Sat. So the tika says, Evam tavad ashanaya bhuktasannasya rasadrupena parinamam jnatva rasadhyatmakasya sharirasya annakaryatvam nischitya annakaryena dehena मूलकरण अनुमान प्रकार उक्तः. So Tikakara tells us what has been done by the Shruti in this passage. Evam tavad ashanaya bhuktasya annasya. When you get hungry and when you eat food, rasadirupena parinamam jnatva, then they get transformed into all these rasa, etc., etc., So rasa and then lohitam and mamsam, etc. Rasadhyatmakasya sharirasya annakaryatvam nischitya. You know very well that the body consists of the blood and the flesh and the bone, etc. And so, therefore, the sharira, the body, is the karyam, the effect or product of annam or food. Annakaryena dehena. So deha is the anna karanam. Anna is the karanam for deha. Anna is then has its karanam in apaha, which has their karanam in tejaha, which has its karanam in sat. Mool karana anumana prakara. That's how you infer the mool karanam, or you appreciate mool karanam, the original cause, which is sat or brahman. Shruti still continues, same process, So what is done with annam should be done with apaha, should be done with tejaha. And so the tika says, Idanim pipasaya pitasya jalasya lohitadirupena parinamam jnatva. Now pipasaya pitasya jalasya, what is drunk because of thirst? But if you drink water without thirst, then what happens? I don't know. So if you drink water when there is thirst, then all these things happen. If you eat food when you're hungry, then these things happen. If you eat food without hunger or drink water without thirst, then these modifications may not happen. Because the fire which is meant to digest them is not there, So pipasaya pitasya jalasya lohitadirupen parinamam jnatva. The water that is drunk is transformed into blood, etc. Lohitadhyatmakasya sharirasya. We very well know that this body is made up of blood and flesh and bone and fat and marrow, whatever. Asti. Sharirasya apkaryatam nischitya. Because the body has blood and blood is a product of water. So body has its cause in water. Tena apurupena मूल कारण अनुमान प्रकार कथ्यते. That way also the मूल कारण, how the body and everything has its source in moolam or sat, is now being told here in the next passage. Uttar vakyanitah atha idanimiti. Let us see the next passage. Atha yatra purushah पिपासति नाम तेज एव तत्पीतं नयते तद्यथा गोनायः अश्वनायः पुरुषनाय इति एवं तत्तेज आचष्टे उदन्य इति तत्र एतदेव शुंगम् उत्पतितं सौम्य विजानीहि न इदम् अमूलं भविष्यतीति. अथ यत्र एतत् पुरुष पिपासति नाम, there ashisishati, he is hungry, pipasati, he is thirsty, so when it is called pipasati. So when the person is hungry, he is called Ashishisha, that becomes his name. Gaunam Nama, a figurative name. Similarly, when the person is thirsty, he is called Pipasati. So Pipasati is a verb, but that becomes a name. Ashishishati is a verb, becomes the name of the person. So Pipasati is a verb, becomes the name of this person. So Atra Yatra Pipasati Nama. When this person gets a designation Pipasati, Teja eva tat pitam nayate. So when he is thirsty, then he drinks water. Then Teja, the stomach fire, leads that water further. Tadyatha gonaya ashvanaya purushanaya iti. Just as the leader of the cow, the leader of the horse, the leader of the human being, man or persons, itevam tat teja achaste udanyeti. So the leader of the water is called udanyam or udanya iti. Tatra etadeva shringam utpatitam somya vijanehi. Hey Somya, understand that this water also is a shungam, is also a sprout, which must have its cause in something. Naidam amulam bhavishyati. That nothing, including this water also, cannot be amulam, cannot be without a cause, cannot be without a source. So Vashyakar explains, Atha idanim apshungadvarena satah मूलस्य अनुगमः कार्यः इत्याह. Asa idanim, that's what happens, without the fire. Up shungadvarena, up becomes shungam or sprout. So through the means of water, which is shunga or sprout. Satah moolasya anugama karya. We have to arrive at sat, which is the original cause, and it's by a similar process. Ityaha, this is what the teacher wants to do in the next passage. Yatra iti. Yatra yasmin kale etan nama pipasate patamicchate iti purusho bhavate ashishishate iti vada idamapi gaunameva nama bhavate. Yatra yasmin kale. At what time? Not at what place, but at what time? So, Purusha, etat Purusha pipasati nama. Etat goes with name. Etat nama. So, pipasati Purusho bhavati. Again, as the Tikakara would say, nama is connected with etat nama. So, then etat nama Purusho bhavati. Either or, nama means prasiddhi. It's well known that when the person is thirsty, he is called pipasati. Pipasi patamicchati iti purusho bhavati. The person becomes thirsty, he is called pipasati. Ashishishati iti vat idamapi gaunameva nama bhavati. Just as when he is hungry, he is called ashishishati. Similarly also, when he is thirsty, he is called pipasati. Is gaunam nama. It's only a secondary or a figurative name. Look at the Tika, line 35. Atha ityasya idanim vyarthamuktva adhyahrutai padai vakyam purayati. Atha means idanim, now. Iti arthamuktva, Bhashyakara gave that meaning. Adhyahrutai padai vakyam purayati apshungayati. So then, atha idanim apshungadvarena. So now what is to be done? Bhashyakara provides that text. Apshungadvarena sato moolasya anuma karya iti. Aha, this is what the Shruti says. Aha means says, who says that? Aha iti yatra Shruti uddaloko va kartrutvena sambadhyate. As you can say, Shruti says or Uddalaka says. Ya pipasya लोहितादि परिणामो गम्यते अन्यथा पीतस्य जलस्य विद्यमानत्वात् पिपासा एव न स्यात् सा पिपासा कदा भवति इति. So if you drink water, it remains there. पीतस्य जल विद्यमानत्वात्, the water does not get transformed further, because there is no fire to absorb that water. So, pipasya lohitadi parinamo gamyate. So, by pipasa, when there is thirst, then you know that the water has been transformed into blood. So, when the water has to be replaced, so water has to vacate its place. When you drink water, the water must vacate the place for the new water to come in. When will the water vacate the space? When the water gets transformed as blood. So when you are thirsty, you know that the water is transformed into blood. Ya pipasaya lohitadi parinamo gamyate. So by pipasa or thirst, we know that the parinama, the transformation as blood has taken place. Therefore now there is empty space there. Anyatha pitasya jalasya vidyamanatvat. Otherwise, the water which is consumed, it remains there. Pipasa eva na syat. There will be no pipasa, no thirst at all. Sa pipasa kada bhavati. That pipasa or thirst, when does it happen? Yatra iti. Yatra yasmin kale, all that was said. Purushah pipasati iti etanam bhavati tada pipasa bhavati. Purusha pipasati it etanna bhavati. When Purusha gains his name, pipasati, tada pipasa bhavati, then the thirst happens. Tatra nimittamaha. So what's the reason why thirst arises? Dravikruta ityadi. Or if you go to Anandagiri, Annakhya Shungadvara Sato Mulasya Adhigate Anantaram iti Atha Shabdartha. Atha is Anantaram, Anandagiri says. Here, Atha means Idanim, Anandagiri is Anantaram. Thereafter. Thereafter means what? Annakhya Shungadvara. Anna means the sprout. From that, the water, fire, Sat. Satah mulasya adhigate. So through the agency of food which is a sprout, we arrive at Sat as the original cause, the primary cause. Atha thereafter is Atha. Pipasati iti etannam purusho yasmin kale bhavati iti yojana. So when the person becomes pipasati, iti now purushasya bhavati, you can say. और एतन् नाम पुरुषो भवति और एतन् नाम पुरुषस्य भवति इति कथं पिपासति इति एतन् नाम पुरुषस्य गौणम् इति आशंक्य सो पिपासति इज गौणम् नाम बट हाउ डज पर्सन गेट्स हिज नेम पिपासति सो द्रवीकृतस्य भाष्यकार सेज इन द फिफ्थ लाइन द्रवीकृतस्य अशितस्य अन्नस्य नेत्र्यः आपः अन्नशुंगम देहं क्लेदयन्त्यः शिथिलीकुर्युः अब्बाहुल्याद् यदि तेजसा न शोष्यन्ते द्रवीकृतस्य अशितसन्नस्य नेत्र्यः the water नेत्र्यः the leader of the food ashitasya the food that is eaten and softened by the water. So water is the leader of the food that is eaten, that was said already. Apah annashungam deham kledayantyah. What does water do? This water actually kledayantyah, they wet the water, the body, which is the product of food. Shithili kuryuhu, then this body will become slackened. Shithili. If water remains as it is, then slowly and slowly the thing will become slackened and become loose and loose, and then will get disintegrated. Yadi tejasa na shoshyante, that water must be dried up by fire. If the fire does not dry up the water and water continues to remain, then it will not only, it will soften and then ultimately will become slackened and will disintegrate the body. Therefore fire is required to lead the water. See the other Tikakara in line 21. Atitaram tejasa shosyamana swapsu patamichha jayati tanvaya. Okay, then let us proceed further. Nitaram cha tejasa shosyamana su apsu deha bhavena parinamana su patamichha purushasya jayate तदा पुरुषः पिपासति नाम तदेतताः नितराम च तेजसा शोष्यमाणासु अपसु. When the water is constantly being dried up by fire, deha bhavena parinamanasu, then when the water is dried up by fire, that water gets transformed into blood, and that's how the water gets transformed as the body. Then patamichha purushasya jayate, at that time that arises the desire to drink. Thirst arises in the person. Tada Purusha Pipasati Nama. At that time this person gets the name Pipasati. That's what Tadetana, that's what Shruti says. Says Anandagiri, Bhavatu apam tejasa shosyamanatvam kim tavata iti. All right, let the fire dry up the water. So Nitram, when it is then Pipasa arises. Tada panecha avasthayam. Tada means panecha avasthayam. When he is thirsty, that time is called Pipasati. When he is hungry, that time is called Ashishishati. When he is thirsty, that time is called Pipasati. Tejasa yat udaka netritvam uktam tatra shrutim avatarya vyachaste. That the fire leads the water leads the food, and fire leads the water. That's what Bhashyakara said. Tatra shrutim avatarya. With reference to that, Bhashyakara introduced Shruti and explains Tadetadaha iti. Bhashyakara says, Teja eva tat tada pitam abadi shoshayet dehagata lohita pranabhavena nayate parinamayate shoshayat. Teja eva tat tada. So at that time, Teja, the fire, Pitam abadi, the water etc. which is drunk, Shoshayat, drying it up, Dehagata, Lohita, Pranabhavena Nayate Parinamayati, that digestive fire converts or transforms this water into blood and prana, the vital energy. So fire is the most important thing in the body. Those with strong digestive fire, the body is really healthy. When that is not there, so many kinds of fires are there in the body. 13 kinds of fires are there. 7 fires are the 7 elements, 7 constituents. Like the skin and the blood and the flesh, etc., etc. 5 fires are there with 5 elements. Akash, Agni, Jal, Prithvi. And 1 fire in the stomach. 13 fires are there. At each fire must be active. So at every stage transformation should take place. Otherwise somewhere further transformation doesn't take place. For example, the fat does not get converted into bone, etc., then what will be fatty? So that is how the subsequent all transformation should take place all the way for the body to be healthy. So it is fire that transforms this water into blood. Says again the Tika, Tejasa apam lohitadi rupena nayane pipasa shabda paryayam udanya shabdam pramanayitum ashanaya shabdasya apsuiva tasya tejasi yaugikatvam drishtandai sadhayati. Tejasa apam lohitadi rupena nayane. That when the fire absorbs the water and transforms into blood, etc. Pipasa shabda paryayam udanya shabdam. Other word is what? Udanyam. I don't know why it says udanya, it should udanya shabdam. Pramanayitum. So other name is udanya. Then the fire gets the name udanya. Person gets the name pipasati. Fire gets the name udanyam. Ashanaya shabdasya apsuyva. Just as in case of water was called ashanaya. So ashitam nayati iti ashanaya. Similarly also tejasi yogitvam apaha nayati iti. So udakam nayati iti udanyam. That also. Yogigatvam Drishtanta is, this is the derivative meaning. Udakam Nayati, Udanyam is derivative meaning. Tadyatha, Subhashyakara says, Tadyatha Gonaya Ityadi Samanam Evam Tattej Achaste Lokah Udanya Iti Udakam Nayati Iti Udanyam Udanya iti Chhandasam Tatrapi Purvavat Tadyatha Gonaya Ashwanaya Purushanaya is to explain as before. Samanam is similar to what we explained earlier. Tat teja achaste udanyayati. So udakam nayati udanyam. Similarly, that what the fire which is the leader of water is called udanya. Bhashyakara udanya. So said here udanyamidi vaktavye katham udanyayati uktam. It should be said udanyam. Teja is what? Napumsakalinga. Says the other tika loka prasiddhi apekshaya yoga prasiddhe adartavyatayam. So loka prasiddhi is one thing, but yogic derivative prasiddhi is more respectable. And therefore adartavyatayam purva drishtanta bahulim. Therefore Gonaya, Ashwanaya, Purushanaya, so many illustrations are given because that is a more respectable name than what is commonly known to people. Tejasa napumsakatvat udanyamidi vaktavye udanyayadi chandasam. So the word tejaha is neuter, so udanyam it should be. Then Bhashyakara therefore said udanyayadi chandasam. And so udanyam, to the udanya is a Vedic license. So tatrapi tejasi vityar yatha ashnayari chandasam tatha tis udake udanyayitapi chandasam eva iti. Alright. Evam apshungatvam sharirasya jnatva. Line 25. Evam apshungatvam sharirasya, not jnatya but jnatva tenavi prakarena mulakar anumanam purvat yojyam. Similarly also know that the body has its source in water, and similarly you should stretch that succession to Sat or the existence as the original cause. Purvat tatrapi. So tatrapi purvat, there also in a manner as earlier indicated, we can trace this succession of effect and cause to Sat or existence. Siddhanagiri Andadvara Satah Mulasya Adhigamavat Ambudvarapi Tasya Adhigati Asti. Same thing. Just as from the food you could reach the original cause Sat, from what also you can arrive at the original cause which is Sat. So Apamapi, so Bhashyakara says Apamapi Etadeva Sharirākṣam Shungam Nānyata Ityavamadi Samanamanyata. Apamati etadeva sharirākṣam shungam. Of the water, this body is the shungam of the sprout. So water is the cause, body is the sprout. And then water is the sprout, fire is the cause. Fire is the sprout, Sat is the cause. Iti samanam. This is how we should understand this also. So our idea is Moola Karana Anumana Prakara. Just as the previous passage told the Prakara, the methodology of how to arrive at Moola Karanam, the original cause, so also this passage tells us how from water we can arrive at the Mool Karanam or the original cause. So let us go to the next passage. Tasya kva moolam syat anyatra adbhyah adbhisomya shungena tejo moolam anvichya tejasa somya shungena sanmoolam anvichya सन्मूला सोमीमाः सर्वाः प्रजाः सदायतनाः सत्प्रतिष्ठाः यथानु खलु सौम्य इमास्तिस्रो देवताः पुरुषं प्राप्य त्रिवृत् एकैका भवति तदुक्तं पुरस्तादेव भवति अस्य सौम्य पुरुषस्य प्रयतः वांग मनसि संपद्यते मनः प्राणे प्राणस्तेजसि तेजः परस्यां देवतायाम् तस्य क्व मूलम स्यात्. Of this body, what's the moolam? Anyatra adbhyah. Other than water, what can be the root of this body? Adbhisomya shungena tejo moolam anvichya. O good looking one, may you seek to understand teja fire as the moolam, the cause of the water, which is the sprout or the effect. Tejasa somya shungena san moolam anvichya. Again, hey Somya, with the Tejasa, Somya Shungena, with Tejasa as the product or the sprout, San Moolam and Vichya, may you understand Sat or existence as the Moolam, as the very cause or the source. San Moola Somya, Imas Sarvah Prajaha, hey Somya, oh good looking one, Imas Sarvaha Prajaha, all these beings, mobile and immobile, they are the Sat Sanmulaha. They are the Moolam, original cause in Sat. Sadayatanaha, they have their abode in Sat. Sat Pratishtaha, their Layasthanam, place of merger also is Sat. Yathanu Khalu Somya Imastisro Devataha Purusham Prapya Trivutrid Eka Bhavati. You said earlier. So having said the Trivut Karanam of the external world, then the teacher said, let me show you the Trivut Karanam of the Pinda, of the individual. And so, this was said already earlier. On the page 246. The seventh passage, Yathanu Khalu Somya Imastasro Devataha Purusham Prapya Trivutrit Eka Bhavati Tanme Vijanehiti. So earlier it was said how these elements, when they come to this body, they get actually divided threefold. So how to say? Annam Ashidam Tridha Vidiyate. The food that is eaten gets divided into threefold ways. So Jat Agne Pachimanam Tridha Yubhajyate. The food gets divided into three parts. The gross part, the middle part, the subtle part. The gross part is rejected. The middle part becomes the flesh. Subtle part becomes the mind or nourishes the mind. Apaha pitaha tridha vidhiyante. Similarly, when the water is drunk, that also gets divided into threefold ways. The gross aspect part of the water is rejected as urine, and the middle part becomes blood. The subtle part goes to sustain the prana. Teja Hashidam Trida vidyate, when the fire such as ghee, oil, etc. is consumed, then that also gets divided into three. Tasya yeah sthavishto dhatuhu. So that which is the grossest constituent becomes bone. The milk constituent becomes majja. And anishtha, it becomes, that means it becomes marrow, and the subtle one becomes the speech. So this is how each element, annam, apaha, tejaha, when they come to his body, they get divided into threefold ways. This was already said earlier. So coming back to page 261, says, Yathanu khalu somya imas tisro devataha purusham prapya trivitrut ekaika bhavati taduktam purastadeva. How each of these three elements becomes threefold when they approach his body, reach the body, was said earlier itself. Then topic changes. Asya somya purushasya prayatah. So when this person is dying, then what happens? Vang manasi sampadyate, the organ of speech gets merged into the mind. Mana prane, the mind gets merged into prana. Prana tejasi, the prana merges into the element fire. Teja parasyam devatayam, element fire gets then transformed or merges into parasyam devatayam, the supreme deity which is Sat or existence. Why we read this passage is because so ashishyasati, pipasati, about the food and water, this process was stated. But fire it is not stated. This is the next passage. It did not tell you how fire, so also is being led by something else, is not stated. That is why the Tika says in line 27, Nanu yatha dehasya anna shungatvena apshungatvena cha mula karana anumapakatvam. But how do you say what is the lead stage of fire? We don't have any evidence of that. Sat is the next leader. Now Sat does not lead anything. So that water is the leader of food is something that we can see happening in the body. And that fire is the leader of water, that also we can experience in the body. But there's something else, the leader of fire, that's not there. So Shruti now has stated two cases and left the third case for us to work out. So nanu yatha dehasya anna shungatvena apshungatvena cha mula karana anumapakatvam. How this body, being the product of food, being product of water, becomes a means of the inference leading to the Sat or the original cause existence. Evam tejas shungatvenapi tat anumapakatvam kimiti shrutya na uktam. So we have annam and up water is said. How come with reference to fire, Shruti has not said how that also leads you to the original cause, namely Sat. Tasya bhutakaryatvat bhatakaya visheshat. If water is also bhutakaryam, earth also bhutakaryam, teja also is bhutakaryam. So what applies to the first two, annam and apaha, should also apply to teja. So therefore, Shruti should have stated about teja also. Ityashangya tadapi arthad uktam. Understand that also has been said by presumption. By arthapatti, there also is understood to be said samarthyaditi. Okay, we'll continue tomorrow. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Tishanti Shanti शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ॐ।